There comes a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when you realize that everything you were taught about success was incomplete. Not entirely wrong, but dangerously shallow. A moment where the applause fades, the noise dies down, and you're left alone with a question that echoes louder than any crowd ever could. Why am I not where I thought I would be? Because the truth is, success is not what they showed you. It is not the highlight reel, not the polished victory speech, not the final step on the podium. It is something far more raw, far more demanding, and far more unforgiving than most are willing to admit. Success is not a destination you arrive at. It is a transformation you endure. And most people, they never endure it long enough. You see, from a young age, you were handed a script. Study hard, follow the path, stay consistent, be patient, and one day, success will knock on your door like a polite guest asking to come in. But success doesn't knock. It tests the locks. It rattles the windows. It waits outside in the storm to see if you have the courage to step into the rain and meet it halfway. And that's where the separation begins. Because while most people are waiting for certainty, the few who rise are moving in uncertainty. While most are asking for guarantees, the few are building belief. And while most are hoping for opportunity, the few are preparing for it long before it ever arrives. This is the truth nobody tells you. Success begins long before results show up. It begins in the invisible moments, the early mornings when no one is watching, the late nights when doubt creeps in, the quiet decisions where you choose growth over comfort again and again and again. It begins in your mind, in the stories you tell yourself when everything around you says, "Stop." Because your mind is the battlefield, and whether you win or lose will be decided there long before the world ever sees the outcome. There is a reason why individuals like Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before illuminating the world. Not because they were lucky, not because they were chosen, but because they understood something deeper, something most people avoid. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the raw material of it. But here's where it becomes uncomfortable, because if failure is required, then so is discomfort. So is uncertainty. So is the constant pressure of not knowing whether your efforts will pay off. And most people cannot tolerate that. They retreat the moment things get unclear. They slow down the moment resistance appears. They interpret struggle as a sign to quit rather than a signal to adapt. But the truth is, struggle is the language of growth. It is how potential introduces itself. And if you are willing to listen, not emotionally, but intelligently, you begin to realize that every obstacle carries a message. Every setback is feedback. Every delay is an invitation to refine, to sharpen, to evolve. This is where mindset separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Because success is not built on talent alone, it is built on interpretation. Two people can face the same failure, and one will break while the other becomes unbreakable. One will see rejection, the other will see redirection. One will see limits, the other will see leverage. And over time, those interpretations compound. They shape identity. They define trajectory. They determine destiny. So if you want to understand success, not the illusion, but the truth, you must start by confronting the one thing you've been avoiding. Your own belief system. Because everything you do is filtered through what you believe is possible for you. If you believe success is reserved for the lucky, you will hesitate. If you believe success requires perfection, you will delay. If you believe success is out of reach, you will subconsciously sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. But if you begin, slowly, deliberately, to reshape that belief, everything changes. Not instantly, not magically, but fundamentally. Because belief is not just a thought. It is a command. It directs your focus. It influences your decisions. It fuels your persistence when logic says stop. And when aligned with purpose, it becomes something even more powerful. Conviction. And conviction is what carries you when motivation fades. Because motivation is temporary. It is emotional. It comes and goes like waves in the ocean. But conviction is anchored. It is built on something deeper than feeling. It is built on meaning. And once you find that meaning, once you connect your actions to something greater than immediate results, you unlock a level of discipline that most people will never experience. Not because it's easy, but because it becomes necessary. You no longer act based on how you feel. You act based on who you are becoming. And that shift, that identity-level transformation, is where success truly begins. Because success is not something you chase. It is something you grow into. And growth demands change. It demands that you let go of old habits, old excuses, old definitions of who you are. It demands that you step into discomfort willingly, repeatedly, relentlessly. Because the version of you that can achieve your goals does not exist yet. You must build that version, day by day, choice by choice, failure by failure, until one day, without even realizing it, you look back and see that you are no longer the same person who once doubted whether it was possible. And that is when things begin to shift. Not outside first, but inside. And once that internal shift happens, the external world has no choice but to follow.